Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel KBS Technocraft. Today we are going to understand how to integrate LivingDoc reporting tool with SpecFlow. So in this we are going to understand what is LivingDoc, how to generate LivingDoc reports, and how we can customize LivingDoc reports. Let's understand first what is LivingDoc. So LivingDoc, a third-party NuGet package or library, which we can use with SpecFlow in the Visual Studio, and we can generate the reports for test case execution as well as for the test scenario definition. So, for example, if you want to generate the scenario definition in a readable format so that you can share to someone, you can use LivingDoc. Or if you have executed your test cases, you want to generate a representable reporting which will say that what are the test cases are getting passed and which steps is getting passed and which step is getting failed. Also it will have a very good feature for reporting as well, where it will show the donut and bar chart for test case execution. Let's understand the content of LivingDoc. Basically, the LivingDoc contains the basically summarized feature scope, also scenario detail, test result, and execution statistics. So let's understand why do we need LivingDoc. Okay, so LivingDoc basically is a reporting tool, as you all might be working for the automation test cases. So what happens, right? Is the reporting is very much important part of your automation test case. To represent the test data or the test result to business people, we require a test reporting, right? So that's why the living doc comes with the minimal changes or minimal configuration required from a developer to generate the test report for the spec flow.
Understand it in more detail, let's create a sample applications or sample test cases and then try to run those test cases and integrate the living document reporting tool. Also, we will customize same report. So see that how does it works and what are the changes we require to do that. So to do that, I'm just creating a new project. To do that, I just selected create new project and then I will select SpecFlow template. I click next and then I will give spec flow, then living doc, right? Like this. Any name we can give it, that's fine. I selected .NET 6.0 and any unit. I will click on create. So now it's created a new spec flow template project where you will have the feature file that is called calculator. Now what I'm going to do that I'm going to show you that the LivingDoc package is by default used to install or is part of the template. So you need not to install anything here. So what as it happens is automatically get installed here. Okay. Now what we will do, we will create a sample feature file. To save the time, what I'm going to do that I'm going to use same test cases what we have executed and created into the previous session where we have understand hooks and how to integrate the hooks. So if you have not referred those videos, I would recommend that please refer those videos so that you can understand what exactly those test cases are. And the links are provided in below description. So let me delete this. I will delete this and then I will copy the feature file detail from here. So I will have a here copy which I'm already developed into the previous session. So I will go here, add new item, and then I will select the spec flow and then feature file. I will give this is the feature file name, right? I created this feature file name here. Okay, so you will be able to see that you are able to create this feature file. Now I will copy this scenario detail and paste it, right? I will save it. Okay, so again we will build it. Okay, so build successfully, but the step definition files are not there. So what we are going to do, that right click, go to define steps, and we will create, right? So once you create it, you can see this file has been created. I will delete the old one, which we have it for calculator. That now I have the step definition file details, which we have used it into the previous session. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to add that detail only the step definition file. So what I'm going to do, I will copy from bindings, as the name space and solution name is different. So I just copy it from binding and I will paste it. Okay. So I will replace this binding here, and that's it. So we are good here. Now we have to install few packages. So add manage new package and then browse, and then we will try Selenium WebDriver and install the latest one 4.19. Apply it. So let's see that it's installed. Now we will be having Selenium support. So we will install that also. Okay. So Selenium support, we will install that also. Okay. Now, if you see the Selenium WebDriver, Selenium support has been installed. Now we will try to rebuild it. Okay, we are getting some error, so we will fix it. Here we need to add the namespaces because we just copy paste, so we can add the references here. So we will add it. Now we can see almost all the issues are resolved, right? And rebuilt. Right. Now we will create a hooks, because what happens here, we are using the injection, right? Dependency injection for injecting the web driver. So we will be creating a hooks here. So add new item and then hooks, and let's say name is hook one only, whatever it is, that's fine. Now this all done, what we are going to do, that we are going to initialize the web driver. So I have that code, and then what we are going to do, before scenario and after scenario code, we are going to copy it because we need to initialize it. So I'm going to copy it, and if you see before scenario, right, before scenario, after scenario, so we will be replacing this, we will put like this, before scenario, and then we will go and add the code for after scenario. So we will be having this code, simple code for after scenario. I will be copying and I'll be pasting after scenario. Okay, so after scenario is already here, so we will put it here and we will close it here. So what we are going to do here is driver dot quit. So driver dot quit. Let me explain what we have done till now so that you will be able to understand, even though if you have not seen my previous video. So from the feature file, we have created three scenarios for a particular feature file. These three scenarios where we are having the first scenario, which search for a topic on Wikipedia, that is a SpecFlow, and see that after the clicking search, it will verify that that is SpecFlow related search are displayed. So the first scenario, which will verify the search functionality, that when you search for SpecFlow, the SpecFlow search contents are displaying. Second scenario, which will say that when you are clicking on the SpecFlow link, which is coming after the search, is navigating to a SpecFlow page. And the third one that verify the content, it will verify the content on the SpecFlow page. So these are the three basic scenarios which we have added it. Then what we have done it, we have added the step definition. In this step definition, what we are having it here is that, okay, so what we are having is that we are having all the step difference. The first one is we are getting the WebDriver instances from the different injections because we are injecting scenario context here. So we are having driver initialized in the hooks. So if you go on the hooks, you will be able to see before scenario, before scenario hooks is there, right there we are initiating, that means we are storing that scenario context there, and then after scenario we are disposing that, that means we are closing that driver, so that once the scenario test case execution happen, the web page should be, a driver should be closed, right, driver should be disposed, right. So this all I have explained in the previous videos. If you have not gone through that, please I request you to go through that. Okay, so now we will try to build it and try to run it. Build successful happen, and then if I go test and test explorer, so you can see these all test cases are there. So if you see these all test cases are there, what I'm going to do, I'm going to run this test cases to see that our test cases are executing correctly. That means it's running and it's successfully uh, verifying those results. I will run all the test cases and see the result. So I will run all the test cases. So I just click on execute, and then you can see that all the test cases are building and running. So you can see it's opening the Wikipedia page and verifying whatever is defined like the steps. Right. So all the test cases are getting passed. Right. So that means our test cases and hooks, whatever we defined, is working fine and it's able to execute the test cases. Okay. Now, since this test cases are executed and there is no reporting tool has been integrated, we are not able to see the consolidated report for this. Okay. Now, how to get this report generated? There are multiple reports are available in the market, which we can integrate it as we have explained. Living document is the one of the most suitable in this for the SpecFlow. We have extend report, we have a pickles, and there are many more. Okay, so we are talking only about the living doc. So let's understand that living doc. Now, to generate the living doc, there is a few commands we need to execute if you are doing manually. All right, and then we will see how we can customize it and plugged in the Visual Studio Code, so that whenever your test case execution completes, it will be opening that report generation. That means report will be generated and it will open once your test case execution finish. Okay. So to run the test report, basically using Living Doc, we have to execute install ACLI command for Living. So this is a command which we need to run it. I will add this command into the description section so that you can use it. So I'm going on the command prompt and I'm going to install this. So if I go on the command prompt, I'm going on the bin directory for time being. I will explain why I'm going on this directory. So here I will type cmd. So you can see I'm there here, right? So what we have to do, we have to go first on this directory, right? And then run the leaving document generation command. But before that, we need to install it, right? So what we are going to do first, cmd, and then run as administrator, right? Once you run an administrator, you have to basically run the first command. That command for installing the CLI. So I will copy this command and paste it. Since my in on my system, I have already installed. it will update it. Otherwise, it will take some time for you to install it. So I'm installing this. Once the installation complete, right, what will happen? Uh, it will allow you to generate the living doc. So to do that living doc generation, what you have to do that you have to go to your bin folder, and then you have to run that command. Okay, so it's already installed, but again it's a reinstall 3.9.57. So that means this installation has been completed. Now to generate the reports, what are the inputs are required? To generate the reports is required three input parameter. Okay, basically this is the living doc text assembly. If you see this command, and then it's required the DLL name of your solution, right? Your project, and this is static for all the application. By default, it's create the test execution.json. We will go one by one. So first, what is this living doc test assembly? This is the living doc command specification, and then we have to define the, since we are running for the assembly, there is a multiple parameters which we can use it. Since we are running on the assembly, we are using the test hyphen assembly. Then living doc dot dll specflow living doc dll is the, basically if you go to the property of this solution, right, you will be able to see, this application dll name is basically the build. If you go build, and then you will be able to see the application dll name. So if you see SpecFlow assembly name is SpecFlow LivingDoc, because I have given this name. Okay, so don't confuse with SpecFlow LivingDoc is static. It's just whatever the solution name and your assembly name is there. Basically assembly name. Okay, you can change this assembly name based on your requirements. So you have the SpecFlow LivingDoc. So if you see my command SpecFlow LivingDoc, and this remaining others remain same. So from where you have to execute first, this wherever this test execution JSON is there, because for running this is required this two DLL and the JSON to be located in that directory. So the by default location where is located is, basically once you right click on that and go to the open file in Explorer, what you will be able to see that you will be able to see a bin folder inside debug. Okay, right? And if you see text execution JSON is there, that's file which is referred. Then you have to type here CMD, right? And then you have to click on this and execute your command. So this is the command which I executed. Right here, the assembly name for me is expect for living doc.dll, and the text execution JSON is the uh, commonly created file from the SpecFlow framework when you run it. So now it said that the living doc HTML file was generated, and it will say that where is it generated. So we will go on the same location where is it generated. So if you see, this file get generated, and now if you double click and open in any browser, what you will be able to see is to give you all the tests whatever you have executed. If I would have been executed only one test case, it could have been. And then you can see the next analytics section where you have a donut chart here and other detail, right? So if there is any failed test cases, it will show you the failed test cases. This all is dashboard for the reporting. So this is how we can run this command. We can generate this test report manually. Now the second part comes, right, how we can automate it. Okay, to automate, there is very good example for using the hooks for this scenario. So we will go on hook, right, and we will see how we can automate it. So when basically we want to execute this uh, generate the report, basically when we our test case execution completes. So, right, so we will write after test run, right, after test run, and then basically we will write a method. You can give any name. So let's say I will give public static, right? And I will give same name after test runs, right? And then I will put this, right? We have to put return type, so I just put void, right? So we have done it now. So now to automate, that means whenever your test case execution complete, we want to run that command which we have used manually, or copy paste from the notepad. We will run those command automatically. So how to run that command? We have some set of code, right? So what I will do, I will add those code there, right? So I'm going to add this code and I will explain what exactly this code works. So now I just did this, right? And then our assembly name we have to pass it. So basically our assembly name is the project name. So if I rename it like this, and then I'm putting this here. Okay, so now let's run it and then I will explain how and what changes I have made it. I will rebuild this. Okay, now I'm going to run this test cases. Let me close. Okay, close this all, and then I'm going to run this test cases again. So if you see what will happen after the test case execution finish, it will automatically open the reports. Let's say, so you are able to see test second test case execution and then third case execution is going on, right? The third case execution is finished, and now we will be able to see the report. So if you see, automatically this report has been opened. That means whenever you run it, right, this report will be open. So how we have done it? We have added a hook, right, after test run. So what I'm doing, that whatever the manual command is there, if it's a debug, that means we do not want to run in the deployment or DevOps pipeline. So that's why I added this condition. And then what I'm doing, I'm using a C# code to execute same command, whatever we have been executing using manually, to run that. Once this command runs, then what happens? I'm opening that LivingDoc, which is get generated, and that's why it's opening after the test case execution finish. Now, let's say consider the third and final topic for today's discussion is that how do you customize this report, right? You want to customize it. What does it mean? That if you see these reports, right, this all is automatically generated by the SpecFlow. You want to inject some piece of code here. That means you want to add something. So let's say our requirement is that we want to add the screenshot for each step so that our report should have that screenshot images. So for example, when user clicks here, user is here, what is the GUI screen uh, was there that time before performing or after performing that operation, it will be taking the screenshot of that. So for that we will be using again hook. So if you understand hook, how to use it, is good. If not, then I would recommend that please go through my previous video, which will help you to understand that how we can use hooks. So if you see how much useful hooks are here. So now we have uh, uh, a hooks for after step. So I'm going to create a hook for use after step hook, right? So I'm again going to declare a method which is public, then static void, and then I will give any name you can give it. I'm giving same. So after this step, right, I will put like this, and then we will see how we can take the screenshot and attach to the SpecFlow. So for that, I have already written the code. I'm going to use that code. Okay. So to do that, first we have to inject the SpecFlow helper. So let me copy it here, the complete information. and paste it. So I got that code and I'm pasting here. I will explain. Okay, so this is after step. Here there is an interface available which we can inject it in our hook. So that is SpecFlow output helper. So that's what I am doing it here. And then I am trying to take the screenshot using the SpecFlow driver. So I just took the screenshot and save it. And then I need to inject that attach that screenshot to my report. Right? So I just reported. So each line, the first we are checking if the web driver is available. Then I'm trying to get the current instance of web driver, and then I'm giving some file name randomly. We have used date, time, month, millisecond, and hour, minute, and second, so that if test case run parallelly, the two image names should not be same. So then I use driver to take a screenshot and save that file and attach to the report. So this interface helps to inject a code or text what we require into the report or to customize the report, right? So I have added it here. Now, if I rebuild solution, let's see if there is an issue. Okay, so there is no issue. If I go test explorer and if I run it here, then what will happen? You will be able to see now for each step the screenshot of each step. It will be captured and attached to that particular report. So all second test case execution completed. Third one is going on. So now all the test cases are executed. You will be able to see the reports open. So it's open here now. And then if you see, right, if you click on show output, right, you are able to see here in the report for each step there is a output, right? So if you click on here, right, you will be able to see what was the screen when that action was performed and when that step was executed. So if you see this, each step will have the screenshot, right? So that is very much important to prove that the test case execution happened. And manually, when you run the manual test cases, normally you take capture the screenshot. So this test automation test case, by adding 4 to 5 line of code, is a customized the report to embedded the screenshot of each step when our automation test execution runs, right? So I hope I made it very simple and you understand. If not, please drop your queries on the comment box. I will try to answer. I will be happy to answer you. I will try to revisit and re-explain what we have discussed. Okay, to implement the automatic generation of the report in the SpecFlow using LivingDoc. What we have done it, we have installed the dependencies. Dependencies, what we have done it, we have installed Selenium WebDriver, Selenium support, we have installed it, and then what we have done it, we have created our step definition file, we have created feature file, and then we have created a step definition file. In the hooks, what we have done it, we have injected our drivers. That means our driver initialized in the before scenario, our drivers, and after scenario we are making that disposing that driver. And then after test run, we have injected a C# code, 4 line of code. What does it do basically? This will be executing automatically that command and generating the report and opening into the browser whenever test case execution completes. Okay. Thanks for watching my video. I hope you like it. If yes, please do subscribe and help me to improve my channel.